The movie starts with Carmine Ricca, a leader of labor disputes and a criminal boss, walking out of the court building after being declared not guilty due to a legal technicality in the case involving the murder of a labor union leader and his family. This decision angers a group of demonstrators outside the courthouse. Ricca, along with his lawyer Weinstein, a bodyguard, and driver James Gino Cantina, drive a luxurious car towards Potrero Hill. A motorbike officer we saw earlier catches up to the vehicle and signals for the driver to stop. The driver takes a turn onto a side street at the next intersection and halts the car. The officer approaches the car and asks the driver for his driver's license, stating that he crossed a double white line unlawfully. At the insistence of Ricca's lawyer, the driver hesitantly hands over his license. The officer goes back to his motorcycle, presumably to record details in his citation book. After a brief period, he comes back and requests the vehicle's registration from the driver. The driver asks for his license back, and in response, the officer unexpectedly draws his gun and shoots the driver in the face from the side. He then shoots the bodyguard sitting in the front seat as he reaches for his own weapon. Subsequently, he fires 2 shots each at Ricca and his lawyer in the back seat. After all 4 men are killed, the officer puts away his gun, returns to his motorcycle, and rides off. Detective Dirty Harry Callahan and his partner Allington Early Smith pass by the crime scene, but are instructed to depart by Harry's latest rival in the department, the fiery Lieutenant Neil Briggs. Neil had assigned Harry from homicide to stakeout due to his disdain for Harry's techniques, presumably aggravated that Harry reclaimed his badge after discarding it in frustration post the Scorpio case. The animosity is mutual. Harry disapproves of Briggs because of Briggs's hands-off, empathetic law enforcement methods. Briggs proudly states that he's never drawn his gun once in all his years of police work, which prompts the unimpressed Harry to jest at Briggs with the quote, "A man must recognize his boundaries." Harry and Early leave the area and head to San Francisco International Airport for a meal at a diner managed by Bill McKenzie, an old pal of Harry's from the force. Early, as a relatively inexperienced officer, is uncomfortable when McKenzie discusses the Ricca homicide and a case involving a grotesque axe murder that he worked on, while Harry enjoys his burger as if everything is normal. However, a signal for trouble is given, and Harry observes a cluster of worried airport staff congregating around a small dead-end street. Harry investigates and discovers that airport security is on edge due to the hijacking of a jetliner. Harry presents his badge and learns that the hijackers are demanding an overseas pilot, so he makes a proposal. Disguised as a pilot, Harry boards the plane and starts taxiing towards the runway for takeoff, but when the co-pilot inquires if he knows how to fly, he confesses that he never took a lesson, which startles the gunman in the cockpit long enough for Harry to disarm one and eliminate the other, seizing the chance to outshine Lieutenant Briggs upon his arrival at the scene. The tension between Callahan and Briggs grows as Briggs shows up at the airplane after Harry has already managed to free it, to which Harry tauntingly asks him, "What brings you here, Lieutenant?" before leaving Briggs fuming at being overshadowed. Later, Harry meets an old friend, traffic cop Charlie McCoy, at a shooting range near Oakland. McCoy, who is recently separated from his wife Carol, is clearly still emotionally attached to her and bitter about his changed life. Worried about McCoy, Harry suggests retirement, but McCoy adamantly refuses and vows to keep fighting. At the range, Harry meets 4 young traffic cops, Philip Sweet, John Davis, Donald Red, Astrakhan, and Michael Grimes, who are close friends from their time in the Army. After letting Sweet try his .44 revolver and being impressed by his skill, Harry chats with the group before moving on. The next day, a mystery motorcyclist heads to Tiburon, targeting a gangster's hillside estate hosting a party. Armed with explosives and a submachine gun, the officer throws a charge into the pool to grab the guest's attention before opening fire, killing everyone present. He calmly walks back to his motorcycle and rides off as bodies litter the scene. Briggs later makes an appearance on TV denouncing the violence. Harry watches the news at Carol McCoy's residence, relieved that her divorce is finalized. She teasingly questions Harry about why he has never made a move on her, but their conversation is interrupted by her rowdy kids and a phone call from Early, who is involved in a stakeout at a nearby general store where suspected robbers have shown up. Harry has to end his dinner with Carol abruptly and rushes to the back entrance of the Cost Plus World Market on Taylor Street. Inside the manager's office, Harry and a uniformed officer observe Early and 2 store employees dealing with customers through a 2-way mirror. A man at the magazine rack returns with 3 tough-looking individuals carrying shotguns and pistols. The leader of the group assaults an employee, demands access to the safe, and orders Early to kneel, a fatal mistake that allows Harry to shoot him through the mirror, triggering a gun battle. Early neutralizes one of the robbers outside. The driver escapes, and Harry fatally shoots the remaining criminal. After the situation is under control, Harry and Early head back to HQ to handle the necessary paperwork, passing by the 4 rookie officers whom Early recognizes from their time at the police academy. Later that evening, a prostitute at the Fairmont Hotel downtown tries to hail a taxi by cutting in line. As she's about to get out of the cab at her destination, the pimp she's going to see suddenly appears and forcefully pushes her back inside, telling the driver to leave. He realizes she's been hiding money from him and warns her that this is her last chance. Enraged, he attacks and tries to assault her. Witnessing the struggle, the cab driver stops the vehicle and runs to call the police. Meanwhile, inside the cab, the pimp pours drain cleaner into the girl's mouth. As she convulses, the pimp takes his hat and the empty bottle, leaving the scene. And we see the prostitute's arm fall out, lifeless. Later on, the pimp is driving across the Golden Gate Bridge when a vigilante motorcycle cop catches up and signals him to pull over. The pimp exits, makes a left turn through an underpass, and stops on the service road under the bridge's north approach. Concealing a revolver between his pant legs, the pimp waits. The cop approaches, claiming to have caught the pimp speeding, and asks for his license and registration. The pimp shows his license along with a wad of cash, but fails to notice the cop raising his revolver. Suddenly realizing the danger, the pimp's eyes widen as the cop shoots him in the neck and then repeatedly in the chest until he's dead. The cop calmly returns to his motorcycle and rides off as the pimp bleeds out. Later that night, Harry arrives home where his new neighbor Sunny, a longtime admirer, greets him and expresses her gratitude by propositioning him. Lieutenant Briggs interrupted Harry, directing him to the city morgue to view the bodies of the vigilante's victims, all criminals, including the recently deceased pimp. Captain Avery reassigned Harry to the homicide department, where the search for leads proved challenging due to the absence of witnesses to the murders. Patrol officers continued to discover the bodies, and ballistics tests only provided basic information on the firearms used. The next day, Harry and Early examined a bullet extracted from the pimp's body, confirming it to be a .357 Magnum round. Their analysis of the pimp's car revealed that the killer had emptied an entire magazine at close range. Noticing the peculiar gesture of the pimp holding out his license and a $100 bill, Harry began to suspect an unexpected motive behind the killings. Tensions escalated between Harry and Briggs as suspicions grew. While Briggs focused on harborside racketeer Frank Palancio, Harry believed another individual was responsible. Harry and Early started monitoring Palancio to uncover more about his activities in the city. Meanwhile, the vigilante cop made his way to a penthouse in Pacific Heights, silencing his gun and eliminating drug kingpin Lou Guzman and his associates with a Colt Python. As the killer proceeded to the basement, he encountered Charlie McCoy leaving the utility room. The unfolding events presented a complex web of potential leads and suspects, challenging Harry and his team's investigative skills. With conflicting theories and mounting tensions, the hunt for the vigilante killer intensified as they pieced together the puzzle of these orchestrated murders. McCoy recognizes the cop he assumes is a colleague until the cop suddenly shoots McCoy in the chest. McCoy falls, losing his helmet, and the cop shoots him again in the head before departing. When DeGiorgio arrives, the cop informs them of McCoy's shooting and holds back bystanders. Removing his helmet, the killer cop reveals himself as Davis. Lieutenant Briggs reprimands Harry for bothering Palancio before disclosing McCoy's death. Harry and Davis bid farewell to Charlie's widow and children as they fly back east for the funeral, with Harry expressing gratitude for Davis's support. Despite their camaraderie, Harry begins to harbor suspicions about Davis. During a robbery attempt at a bowling alley, they intervene and stop the robbers. Davis chastises onlookers for allowing such crimes to occur. Subsequently, Davis and Harry join a police shooting competition, where Harry tests his doubts by deliberately missing a target with Davis's revolver. He retrieves the bullet and matches it to those recovered from McCoy's body. Harry hesitates to share all his findings with Lieutenant Briggs when examining a bullet under a forensic microscope, as he is beginning to trust no one fully. His suspicions are proven right during a police operation at Palancio's offices by the harbor. Harry has requested Davis and Sweet to support him. Palancio and his associates are having lunch in the office when they get a warning call from an unknown person, alerting them about an imminent attack by hitmen posing as police officers in 2 minutes. When Sweet knocks on the door, Palancio shoots him with a shotgun from behind the door, triggering a gunfight. Harry takes down one thug armed with a submachine gun before the reinforcements arrive. Once backup arrives, Davis successfully eliminates 2 thugs in the main office on his own. As Palancio tries to escape, Harry clings to the hood of his car, causing a distraction that leads to Palancio's fatal mistake of taking a wrong turn and getting impaled on a crane. When Briggs and Captain Avery attempt to blame Harry for the chaos, Harry defends himself by pointing out that Palancio's men fired first, suggesting they had insider information. Briggs is in disbelief and pledges to destroy Callahan's career, demanding Harry to surrender the bullet he presented earlier. However, the bullet turns out to be a counterfeit, as Harry still possesses the original one he found before. He confides everything to Early Smith, handing him the bullet to deliver to Briggs if anything happens to him. In the garage of his apartment, Harry is confronted by the 3 remaining vigilante cops who propose that he joins their group dedicated to eliminating criminals. Harry firmly declines, stating, "You have misunderstood me." The vigilantes depart upon hearing his response. Later, Harry uncovers and disarms a bomb in his mailbox that was presumably planted by the vigilantes as a contingency in case he rejected their offer. Tragically, a second bomb kills Early. When Briggs shows up and instructs Callahan to transport the bomb to the police headquarters, a tense situation unfolds. Inside the car, Briggs pulls out his .357 Magnum Smith & Wesson Model 19 snub-nose revolver, coercing the inspector to surrender his weapon. Briggs discloses that he is the mastermind behind the group of vigilantes, justifying their actions based on principles of frontier justice and immediate executions. He acknowledges Harry's skills as a cop but points out his loyalty to the system. In response, Callahan declares, "I despise the damn system. Until someone proposes sensible changes, I'll maintain my current position." Briggs then directs Harry to take the next exit. Glancing in the rearview mirror, Harry spots Grimes following them. Realizing instantly that he's being set up, Harry subdues Briggs, rendering him unconscious, and then disposes of Briggs at a shipyard. He deals with Grimes by crashing into him head-on with his car. Harry flees onto an old aircraft carrier as the remaining 2 vigilante cops arrive. Evading his armed pursuers, Harry confronts Astrakhan in one of the ship's abandoned hallways, killing him. He then escapes on Astrakhan's motorcycle, with Davis in pursuit. After a series of daring maneuvers on the carrier, they reach the end of the deck. Harry manages to stop in time, but Davis, unable to halt, plunges into the water and drowns. Looking down at Davis's lifeless body in the water, Harry contemptuously remarks, "Briggs was right. You guys lack experience." As Harry limps back to his damaged car, Briggs reappears, aiming his .38 snub nose at Harry. The corrupt lieutenant threatens Harry, promising to charge him for killing fellow cops. Quietly activating the mail bomb's timer, Harry watches as Briggs drives off. The bomb detonates before Briggs travels 100 feet, ending the corrupt lieutenant's life. In the final scene, the camera zooms in on Harry's face as he repeats the movie's iconic line, "A man's got to know his limitations before walking away." Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you want to watch more videos like this. Thank you for watching and see you again soon. Take care.